Nadia takes a turn as line leader. In Nadia's first grade class, all of the students want the opportunity to be the line leader. Nadia is blind and she has never been the line leader. She has never been brave enough to ask Mrs. Johnson if she could lead the line. "All right, we need a line leader for lunch today. Are there any volunteers?" asked Mrs. Johnson. All of the students raised their hands quickly except for Nadia. "I want to," said Melissa. Oh, pick me," said Jamar. "I know all of you would like to be the line leader every day. But how about we let Nadia be the line leader today," said Mrs. Johnson. "She has never had a turn to be the line leader." No thanks, Mrs. Johnson," shouted Nadia from across the room in a timid voice. "Are you sure?" replied Mrs. Johnson. Nadia thought about it for a minute. "No thanks, Mrs. Johnson," she yelled. "Okay then, Jamar, would you like to be our line leader today?" asked Mrs. Johnson. "Yes," shouted Jamar. "Okay, Jamar, you will be the line leader for today," replied Mrs. Johnson. Mrs. Johnson then made an announcement to the class. "Tomorrow we are going to do something different, maybe a surprise to you." 10 to 15 hands went up, all wanting to ask what the surprise will be. "It is a surprise," responded Mrs. Johnson. "Just wait and see." The next day came. All of the students were waiting for Mrs. Johnson to spring the surprise. When everyone was quiet and settled down, Mrs. Johnson said, "The surprise today is that Nadia will be our line leader next week." "No," Nadia responded, "I can't do it. I want to know where to go." Mrs. Johnson said, "Now Nadia, please listen to me. You are an important part of the class, and we need for you to learn how to do what the rest of your friends do. I want you to be line leader for a week. Every day we will have one of your friends help you with it. I will pick 5 of your friends, 1 for each day of the week to help you." Mrs. Johnson did not have to pick anyone. Shortly after she made the announcement, almost every hand in the room flew toward the sky. That made it difficult, so she asked Nadia if she would like to pick the ones to help her. She agreed. She chose 2 boys and 3 girls. Nadia's week to become line leader came and she was ready to try. Her friends were very helpful. After her week of being line leader was over, her response was, "That was fun. When can I do it again?" Mrs. Johnson replied, "Everyone will have a turn as usual, but I am glad that you will no longer be shy when your turn comes again. Your next turn will be after the last student has a day. Then, like the others, you will have only 1 day." "Great!" says Nadia. "I can't wait for my next turn."